method names we are calling with the different arguments. Then we get an arrays of method overriding. Okay, that means we should override the method defined in the superclass. That is possible by defining a method in the subclass. Okay, which is defined in the one class and we are calling into the superclass. Okay, which has the same name and the same arguments and the same return type. If all are in the same, then method can be overridden, and whatever they are called in the main method of the superclass, that will be getting into your output. Okay. Thus, then when the method is called, the method defined in the subclass, okay, that is invoked and executed instead of one in the superclass. Okay, this is called an overriding. How this overriding can be removed and is nothing but in your method binding we learn about the number of arguments and the type of the arguments. When we increase the number of arguments, whenever we have a possibility of increasing the number of arguments, then we can, even though the method name is same, when your arguments are increased, whenever it is invoked from the subclass to the superclass, then we can overcome this overriding mechanism. Okay, and another possibility is nothing but when you change the data type, whenever the method with the same name, it is invoked is nothing but called from subclass to the superclass. Now superclass is your main method which is having the superclass. Okay, from subclass when you are calling the same method name which is having that, then that method name you are calling, then overriding can be occurred, and whatever the variables, even though you are called in the superclass, okay, that will be not be considered, that will be overridden by the subclass variables, subclass objects, that will be overriding with the superclass objects, and whatever the subclass objects are declared, that objects will be called into the existence, and that will be printing as your output. Okay, in order to overcome this, we are writing that one possibility is increasing the number. If I am having the two objects in subclass method, in superclass I can take with your three objects, then I can mention into the superclass. And another possibility is nothing but whenever you change the data type, if you are kept your integer in your subclass method declaration, and in the superclass when you change the data type from your integer to float, or I don't want to be changed the variation of that value to the particular variable you are declared, then go with your long. Okay, you change the data type, then the overriding can be removed. Okay, this is what our possibility in your overriding. In depth regarding your programming, we learn in the inheritance. At the time, we will learn about your overriding concept related to the programming, and overriding we'll discuss at your interfaces. We'll get the overriding concept of it. Okay, regarding your programs, we'll learn. This is your basic concept that what is your overriding concept. Okay, next is exceptions in Java. Exceptions is nothing but, can anyone, already we discussed exceptions. What is mean by an exception? Whenever our instructions in the program are executing flow like one instruction after another instruction, it is going on executing the instructions. Okay, whenever a sudden interrupt is occurred in your normal program execution, then an interrupt is occurred in between. Whenever your interrupt is occurred in between, means that may be the interrupt thrown by the compiler, or the programmer is throwing any interruption, or any abnormal condition occurred, if you are mismatched your logic written or the syntax written wrongly, then an abnormal condition occurred in the exception in the code sequence, then we call as your exception. That is, and stopping a flow, the control flow. Okay, the stopping an abnormal condition occurred in between the code sequence. Then this is called as your exception. Okay, as I said that exceptions may be arises at during the compile time or runtime. Means stopping the program flow, the execution, or your compiling time or your runtime, that may be having the possible. Okay, I said that can be exceptions can be we call as your a programmer can throw or a compiler or the runtime can be throw. We have many possibilities to stop the procedure of the code sequence. Okay, here we have a throwable is a super class in exception hierarchy. As we see in your exception hierarchy, started from throwable object. See, where we are getting these exceptions are nothing but this basically depends on the whatever the objects we are defined. If the objects defined and the object called in the logic specified and your logic, the object utilization mechanisms, we can have this possibility of your stopping the procedure of code sequence. Okay, that can be an throwable starting from your the throwable can be we said that is a super class. The throwable can be from the program sequence or the in the program sequence the programmer is throwing or on the particular object, not anywhere on the particular object the programmer is throwing or else the compile time a compiler is throwing at the runtime your interpreter is throwing. Okay, like this we have in a hierarchy also. Okay, see the compile time errors basically they are going to be occur that whenever you are incorrect syntax you are mentioned, then that syntax incorrect syntax errors, whatever the errors occurred, okay, at the compile time is nothing but one type of an exceptions. The runtimes can be occur at many times, many variations, right? Whenever user enters incorrect input, right? Basically, variable you are calling or the value you are calling incorrectly you are mentioning. If I am specifying integer with some variable, then I am giving at the input of value to the variable a. If I am taking the float value, then it may arise some type of an error. Okay, there is invalid input you are mentioning, like your resources is not available, that without your compiling you are going to be executing at your runtime, then it will say that the exe file is not found. That exe file is nothing but your class file is not found. Whenever you are compile you are getting the class file, this class file is not found, then it will check that the resource is not available, that is your file not found, exception will be arises. Okay, and another one is logic error, but that was not fixed. Whatever you are exactly logic you are mentioning for that variable defined or your method declared and method usage, you are not declared instance and just you are calling that logic into the program, then you get in a bug error. Okay, these are your exceptions. And what are the exception classes? In your previous classes also we had discussed your two times of revision of your exception classes. What are your compile times uh, errors are arises and what are the execution time errors are arises. Okay, like your exception classes is exception occur on the particular object. Okay, when you throw an exception, you throw an object. Exception is nothing but if you are throwing on stopping the procedure on the particular object. Okay, then the exception may be arises. You can't throw just any object as an exception. You are throwing an exception on the object. Okay, clearly. identify here. Okay, however, only those objects whose classes uh, descend from the throwable. From the throwable syntaxes, we are getting the exceptions arises in the objects. Okay, the family we are the exception classes will start from the packages called here java.language. Okay, okay, which is going to be initiate from the throwable classes. How the throwable classes is going to be directed to their subclasses where the exceptions will be arises and where the errors might be arises. Exceptions are nothing but at the compile time. Previously I also said. Okay, errors are we are going to mainly find it at the time of runtime. This is your which is your exception is which is your compile time you are getting is nothing but your again divided into checked exceptions and unchecked exceptions. Okay, checked exceptions are built-in exceptions which are already predefined in the java.language. Unchecked exceptions are nothing but your user defined. Okay, which is we can get from the throw syntaxes. That is your device error. Okay, unauthorized access, like this is user defined are nothing but your unchecked exceptions. Checked exceptions are already predefined in the java.language that are null pointer exception, arithmetic exception, input output exceptions. Okay, that will come under your exception. And this is an already exceptions are thrown to signal abnormal condition that can often be handled by some catchers. Catchers is nothing but your whatever the errors arises, we now go to be handle that. In order to stop the procedure, we need to be continue with the next line whenever the particular exception arises. Then we go with your catch syntax. Okay, though it is not possible by the catch, we are again going with your another syntax. We have a final. Okay, in order to make that control flow to stop, we are taking the exception classes. That is, we are mechanisms we have exception handling mechanisms. That is try, okay, catch, finally, throw, throws, like these types of mechanisms of your exception handling we are taking into consideration in order to flow will not be have a dead, will not be stop, the result will not be any stop. In order to get the result even though printing that error as well as next flow, next whatever the statements you are written, the exception handling mechanisms we are taking into consideration and we are getting that sophisticated result after printing the error also. Okay, these exception handling mechanisms we are taking for normal flow of your. Okay, the errors are usually thrown for more serious problems such as out of memory error. Okay, that may not be so easy to handle. Only with the exception handling mechanisms we can able to handle that exceptions. Okay, in general code we write should throw only exceptions, not an errors. Errors will be what happens. We cannot able to erase. Okay, will we are going to be stop that procedure. Okay, exceptions we are throwing means we can able to handle within the programming environment. Errors we are getting at the time of your compile time and runtime we are getting, but we in order to rectify it again we need to go into the program. Okay, exceptions means nothing but within the program specified we are finding and writing the next flow of your exception handling mechanisms with your try block or your catch block. You know, if not we are going with a finally block to handle the exceptions. Okay, this is what our exceptions are. Already said that errors are usually thrown by the methods of the Java API, which is already predefined, like this device error, unauthorized access, like these types of errors can be handled mainly by your JVM. Okay, what is JVM? We are going to be learning. See, like this, we have an flow like of your exception hierarchy uh, from throwable to how we are getting the exceptions and how we are getting the errors. Okay, what type of an exceptions we are going to be arising. Like that, flow structure is very big, but as it is a basic part, we are only showing that little bit of your concepts. That is throwable. We are going to the left side, exception. Right side we have an error. Okay, and again from the exceptions, we are going to be writing the interrupted exception, runtime exceptions. Okay, and compile time exceptions. For that, many subclasses will be there. The subclasses of your runtime I have defined here. That is arithmetic exception, null pointer exception, class not found exception. Like this, we are going to be calling. And again to this, we have an another for the subclasses. We have an objects we're defining, like this error when you're taking that threaded death is nothing but completely the procedure we are stopping, that we are calling as a thread death. Regarding in depth of your thread uh, thread depth and multi-threading, multi-processing, under this error we are going to be arising, that will see in your multi-processors, multi threading concept is there. In that we'll have an remaining subclasses exceptions. Okay, up to now these are the basics concepts of your from throwable object to what are the super classes. That is your exception is one super class, we can tell the error is another super class, we can tell from the throwable object we are getting. And to these super classes, what are the subclasses are there? Subclasses are exceptions are interrupted exception, runtime exceptions. To that, again, the base classes are arithmetic exceptions, null pointer exceptions, class not found exceptions. Like this is going to be errors, it is going to be arises. Clear? This is what regarding your exceptions. See, completely now going to the summary of your exceptions on we are up to now we are discussed this nothing but the following concept we are discussed about your completely objects. Without these objects, on thinking on these objects, we cannot able to specify the classes and what are the classes instances variables we are identified. Okay, how they are going to be defined and how they are going to be accessed. Okay, with a particular class name, what is the logic we are going to be writing, how the objects are going to be specified, combined with the code, with the data associated. Is be seen about your abstraction, encapsulation. Again, your how far your methods are going to be invoked from one classes to another classes. We seen about your inheritance and polymorphism, or the different way of your uh, forms we are using for your method overloading and method overriding, how they are going to be binding together, and how the message is going to be transmitting from through the help of the agents. Like this, we are seeing our summary of our OOPS concepts. Clear? This is about your first part of your Java as it is your basic part. Clear? Regarding these OOPS concepts which are we are discussed. The dynamic binding is nothing but your whatever the method binding you are mentioned, how the overloading and your overriding concepts we are going to be occurring on your methods invoking from one class environment to another class environment. Right? In
Okay,
that
sir.
in that messages we are passing from one object to the another object. Like this, we have an abstraction mechanism. It's a small picture is there how the instructions are going to be organizing similar like your functions. Okay, whenever you are giving the two or more inputs, you are getting their one variation of the syntax you are getting. This is by this can be achieved by using your interfaces, similar like, okay, that is by using the implementing from where you are going to be implementing from the functions power we are going to be. This is a small variation you are regarding your abstraction. Is this when you are identified abstraction is nothing but we can be able to only identify the what is a student, but inside we have what we are the data we have inside is nothing but the name of the student and the marks of a student with the specific data type we are mentioning and grade of a particular student. We are mentioning the list of the whatever the details of the students we have, and we are going to be organizing in table form. Like this is small abstraction. How it is with the data abstraction is going to be organized the data in all your, okay, based on their behaviors. We are combining the procedure with the object. Okay, starting from here, how we are going to be initialized from the data state, how they are going to be inserting in a queue format or your DQ format, and you check with your whenever the data is getting output, it is full or empty, it will show. But basically, we are stating that the data state is nothing but it's showing the behavior on the procedure how we are following that object utilized. Okay, now this is your second part in your Java, which we are discussing about history of your Java. Mm, and what are the buzzwords and the data types in your Java. And secondly, we go with your variable scope and lifetime of your variables and array operators. Like this, we have in the statements of your first, second part of your first unit. Uh, that is type conversions and casting and executing sample Java programs, classes and objects. Like this, we have any concepts we are going to be discussing. Okay. First, we will go with your history of Java. Okay, as already we have discussed your history of Java, many times it will be not be asked the history of Java. Only to in the history of Java, we are mainly focusing on how our JVM is created for your executing Java programs and what platform you are taken for the Java environment. We mainly focus on those two concepts only in the history of Java. Okay, we'll go with your history of Java. Java history started from your ancient days, from your the computer languages, their innovations and developments have two fundamental reasons we have to changing the environment. Okay, nothing but to the usages based on our usages, based on the memory concerns, based on the type of the data we are taking for the input, and see mainly focusing on how the result we are getting by removing the complexity in the future improvements we are implementing. Okay, the development of the Java was driven by both in equal measures. Same like your whatever the earlier programming languages we are inheriting from that basic language to the advanced features. Like same like that also Java will also be taken. Like that earlierly before using of the C language we have in your B language. Here's your Pascal, COBOL, like that languages, basic languages to in order to understand your machine instructions clearly by the computer. Okay, like this B language is completely the basic language we are going to be using, that is your zeros and ones. From there onwards we are moving into making some advancements on your understanding by the programmer as well. Like the C we are taken, and when we are changing from the procedure to object, we are implemented little thing with your C++, adding with your C advancements on that, then completely moving into the object environment from the procedural, we move into the Java complexity. Okay, this is a small history of your Java. What is the C? Daniel Suches in 1970s he invented like your C. Before that, we have in a basic COBOL, Fortran, and Pascal languages we used to be having. See, mainly C structured is developed in order to make that as making some high-level language, make an convenient to the programmer to replace the assembly language to create the programs. Okay, implemented by the programmers. Okay, in 1979, C++ is being invented by the another author, that is in Benjamin Stolstop in 1979. Okay, in response to the increasing the complexity of the programs, in order to that, the C++ has been invented with the new concepts that some programming paradigms and methods, which is an assembly language, high-level language, structured programming, and object-oriented programming concept has been invented through the C++. Is nothing but your objects are going to be introduced with the help of using mainly to decrease the complexity of the programs in order to organize the objects with the use of inheritance, encapsulation, and polymorphism. Okay, now that is taken from the C language and extending to the C++ to make that object oriented features conveniently to usage. Now, earlierly they used to be called that object-oriented environment. Uh, it is again now C++ is done in your Bell laboratories, whereas now the lab has been changed from there to Sun Microsystems. Has been started the project of developing the Java in 1990s, but they named in, uh, initially with the Green language. Okay, then based on that. Objects identified and thinking on that particular objects to be identifying that what is the problem is and how the problem is to be identified and how to rectify that. Basically, this object oriented is nothing but to develop the software applications, the organizing the computer companies informations to make it as in a public environment to is means nothing but you have to create a websites first customer who is selling their products onto the online. For that, they are developing the software. As basically, they started from the electronics selling the products onto the on the public environment. They developed this Java environment by developing the websites. Okay, this is done by the not only the one person. This is done by the group of their uh, James Gosling assigned to that, and apart from that, he is taking that another authors also help in designing the software projects. Okay, initially they are going to be written with these and programs with the help of the C++ only, and then they are embedded into some making that these concepts to be thinking on the particular object. They are going to be changing that how the electronic goods are going to be working based on that. They are also working on toasters, washing machines, and VCRs. They are done that research on these products, and they are success in making these appliances. Okay, this is about small history of your Java. Based on the C++, Java is having the more powerful, and they are invented this some concepts and reducing our complexity. Okay, there are small concepts of your in your Java. Mainly, we are focusing on the nature of the architect of the structuring of the programming. Then they used to be called the language from the green language to oak language. Okay, by increasing some concepts, that is like your pointers from the C functions there to the pointers arithmetic and the operator overloading. They are introduced apart from the C++, and they make that language as your oak language. Based on that, new concepts are introducing on the particular uh, concept, particular predefined one, then they are making that advancements on that. Okay. Like that, they are depending on that some other platforms they are developed, and these Java they are started whenever they are introducing these overloading concepts, operators, pointers they are taking into considerations. They done that without developing, without depending on any other applications. Only they need to create a separate environment from the operating system as your JVM. They make it that this concept as your platform independence, and architecturally they are proved that. How that is proved uh, with residing in the platform independence and developing their own programming languages and working, compiling and executing. Also, they are taking some other space from the operating system. How that is basically, see, already I said that there is goal of this Java is to be make that consumer electronic products, to identify that, to make it as a public using that some internet protocols they are taken, www constrium they are taken, and make it the environment as graphical user for the program, for the consumer to conveniently identify the product, and they are able to buy it then viewing their futures. Like that the websites they are created. Like it, you're completely you're working on Java and the internet, the programs they were developed and targeted them. Okay. Like this, the years on year they are doing the advancements. Then in 1994, they run with a browser called Web Runner. It was written in Oak language. Okay. Later, it is renamed from WebRunner, which is running on the particular websites, web browsers they are using. They renamed that Oak language to the Hot Java. Okay, and completely purely they are moved from the 1995. They renamed the Oak to the uh, Java language. Okay, like this, there onwards the commonly the developing team of this Java platform they are taking that place from one place they are writing the program, and anywhere they are executing that the concept they developed that and make it that Java as a the coffee concept, nothing but your different beans, milk, whichever your different concepts you are taking, and um, making that coffee. Same like that only the JVM is also working like that. They are making the Java as a got with along with the team. It's got a name as your coffee. That's why you are seeing that coffee symbol on the Java textbook. Okay, and that becomes the trademark also for your Java software. Like this, we are going on discussing your Java XP as having the main purpose is that working the programs on the internet and making that platform as a platform independent. And this work on your many communities like your Unix, Linux operating system, and Macintosh. Okay, and we named that internet version as well Java also, like this, and we are getting into the existing as that platform independent is our Java API, which is the runtime environment we used to be calling that. See here you can see that the complete picture of your the right ones, and run anywhere the concept of your Java executing files. Before that, this is a platform independent as your run Java platform independent. We have an concept is regarding your JVM, that is your Java environment. What is an overview of your Java environment? How it is coming into that Java environment is came. Okay, initially your C, B language, C language, and C++ language all are having the specific applications we used to be having. The specific applications we are working on the operating system. See, this is your circle. You are seeing that operating system. In that we are installing your C application or C++ application, C++ application we are going to be using. And whatever you are compiling and your execution working on your operating system only, like you're taking the help of your compiler, assembler, interpreter, like this type of your applications, your which is library defined uh, commands which are there in your runtime environment of your operating system, that we are using and we are executing our programs. And later on they are introducing as your internet programming of your Java environment. The Java application, whenever it is under the installing in the operating system only, the Java as it is in running on the internet applications, we need to be having a separate space for executing the Java applications, as we are taking the objects into considerations, and we are not taking the procedural environment. We are taking the object environment to execute our programs. Likewise, your operating system, your Java application will be create some an extra space instead of your operating system to compile and execute the programs. It will create some virtual machine. Same the operations which is operated worked like your operating system, your JVM, the virtual machine of your Java will be working and residing some amount of the space as like your cache memory. This will be created in your operating system at the time of your installation. Okay, then will not take the help of your operating system, and directly it is going to be the JVM will execute your programs wherever you want to be execute it. The execution procedure also the JVM will be assigned with. That is your ORA. Write once, run anywhere. That we are seen in your uh, command prompt. You can able to see that. Okay, by changing the drives from your E drive to C drive or your C drive to D drive, we can change the environment and taking the location where we are saved our program. Okay, like that we need to create that. In order to work with that, we need to create some path setting in the operating system in order to work our JVM, Java Virtual Machine. Okay, that procedure we'll see at the time of your execution, at your programs compiling and execution. Already we are seeing that the environment how we are at the time after installing. When you see the command prompt, when you type the Java C, we'll see that compiler is installed in the operating system or not. Nothing but your JVM is created or not. That we are checking with the Java C. Okay, we are simply typing the command Java in the command prompt. It will tell that whether the Java is installed or not in your operating system. But in order to JVM is created in your operating system or not, that we will check with your Java C command. When your Java C command you are pressed and you are getting the library commands as you are showing on the command prompt, then we are getting that the JVM is created in the operating system. How? By going to that computer settings, we are going to be uh, keeping your class path settings. Okay, path when you are set means nothing but your JVM is initialized. Clear? This is what our overview of your Java environment. Based on your Java environment, we are making the Java as a platform independent. Okay, that is runs write once, run anywhere. You can write in your notepad and you can run in your any drive you are specified your program. Then from their location You can compile and you can execute. Whenever you are compiled, your class file will be initiated. Okay, this compiling procedure anyhow, when you are taking the help of your basic operating system to your JVM, your compiling will be done. Okay, but in order to execute, your JVM, what you are typing the command at the time of your execution, directly you are calling the class file which is created in your specific location where you are saved. There only the class file will be initiated. From the same location, we are going to be calling that whatever the execution procedure command you are telling, that will take the help of your JVM help in your runtime application. That is Java space. You are writing the class file name. When writing the class file name, whenever the compiling is done only, the runtime, the JVM will be initiated, and you will change your whatever the language procedure you are framed, that will converted into zeros and ones. Then to the Windows it is going to be transferred. Okay, then the Windows will show your sophisticated result as your output. As we can say that this is your platform independent. It is not depending on your operating system. Independently, it is depending on the JVM machine and working on Windows operating system. Whatever the operating system you take, either the Windows, either the Linux, either the Macintosh operating system you take, based on that operating system, the JVM will be initiated some space for your executing your Java programs. Okay, that's why whenever your Java is in JVM is initiated, Java virtual machine is initiated, then we can specify that it is a platform independent. Right? That's all about your Java history complete, as we are discussing. Okay. Some of the buzzwords are there based on this JVM creation. What are the buzzwords we have? It's nothing but what are the features of your uh, Java, right? Means nothing but basically what are the key consideration words which we are assigned to that how the execution procedure of your Java programs is working on your JVM. That is, it is a simple procedure. Okay, that is what is meant by simple. It is nothing but what are the simply your whatever the programs you have written in your English language, you can able to uh, understand that instructions. Basically your how you can tell that understanding the programs means nothing but you are taking the real world objects on your thinking, and based on that thinking you are using that objects. Okay, that's why we are making the Java as a simply understandable language, as it is in a professional programming language. Okay, as I said that it's an object oriented. Okay, we can able to remove the object based on our add the object or the remove the object and use the object. Okay, without any restrictions. Okay, and compatibility of the usage in the JVM apart from the other languages, as we are taking the real world objects. Okay, right? And these Java is, we can say that it's in a robust in nature. We can uh, any mistakes we are identified in the program, from there itself only we can able to check and we can able to remove the errors, that we can tell that as your compile time or your run times. We can tell that mainly we are taking with your that we concept we call as a memory management. Next one is your multi-threading. Is nothing but your two classes, three classes. We are telling that writing in your inheritance concepts like this. One class we can say as we can say as your one thread. Okay, and one process we can say that, right? In one process completely program you are writing is one process. In that multiple threads are writing. Multiple threads are nothing but your, similarly when you take the concept of your inheritance, we can write your multiple class environments. One class environment we call as one thread. Okay, like this concurrently one class environment after the execution, we are going to be next class environment. Like that, dividing our program into a consecutive computations we are performing and making the a sophisticated program, and we are performing on that. That is your multi-threading. And another is architecture neutral. That is how we are creating the JVM. This provides a platform independent, mainly for the execution. How this user convenient of your English language, how it is converting into the machine language, then to the byte coded, right? Then interpreted and high performance. How they are going to be interpreting based on their language described in your English format. They are compiled at the intermediate levels of your from your taking the help of your JVM. It is going to be interpreting from your English language to your byte code, your machine languages, and it is going to be performing on the native machine code with more efficiency. We are getting the result upon your byte code. That's what we are getting, that is having the high performance. Another one is it is a distributed nature. Whenever working on your Java programs, applet programs, when you are working on, that is we are calling as internet programs. As your network socket programs, we are JDBC programs will be there. Java database connectivity programs will be there. One, whatever the web page we are created, that web page should be connected to your database management system. Okay, lot of information we cannot be recited in your Java applications. Enough plenty of information to be communicated onto the network in the environment. We are going to be checking with the JDBC concepts. That is going to be distributing the nature of the Java with the other components. As to access that, we have using the URLs. That is uniform resource locator. Similar like your address bar, you are writing www.vmtw.in as your website address. Same, that is nothing but your uniform resource locator. Nothing but it is locating the resource where you are created. Okay, with the help of that URL only, we are going to be accessing lot of information in the websites. That is we are calling as handled by your JDBC mechanism by taking the TCP IP protocols. That is transport control protocol or internet protocol, we can call this. Okay, that is what which I said is www dot consortium, which is having that we are going to be handled by these TCP IP protocols. This is we call as distributed nature. This is a dynamic. Okay, whenever you are running the program, a lot of information is to be verified. Okay, it's to verify and resolve the access to the particular objects only. It is going to be identifying nothing but the logic we are written based on thinking the what type of object we are going to be mentioning on that. If the object you are specified according to the logic you are identified, then only it is going to be dynamically identifying that object and give the efficient result in your output. That why that's why we are telling that it's in a dynamic in nature, that object thinking. Anyhow, when you are working on your internet programming, this JVM will having the more security whenever you are taking the JDBC programs. And portability, as you are removing the complexity comparing to that procedural oriented. That's why we are calling that internet programs are lesser in the nature when coming to the procedural oriented. That's why we are calling it as an portability in the nature. For programs to be dynamically downloaded to all the various types of the platforms connected to the internet. As we can say that the Java is purely an internet programming language. Like when generating your executable code, it is from the basic common mechanism to it is giving into the user environment. It is getting as your output. Okay, like this, these are the features of our Java. Okay, this will work in your efficient purpose. Clearly, you got it. This is all about your completely Java environment. Next class, after on we have a class, we'll start with your data types more. Right?
Okay,
This is
sir.
what this is what we have discussed our some of the Java buzzwords. Okay. Chalo, thank you, ma. Yes, R is waiting. Uh, Next class. From we have class in the class we will discuss about data types. Okay. On to, are you having any doubts? You can ask the doubt sessions in the afternoon session. Please be asked, ma. Who is your next class? Next is your DBMS class. I think sir is Bharat sir. Please see. Please don't be get bored. Why? Because as we these basics we are discussing completely only in depth only. If you are having this discussion, then we are going to be understand clearly with your advanced concepts. Only first unit we have in a main part of your theory of your understanding the concepts. Okay, if you are understanding these basics concepts only, then you go with the programming concepts easily. That's why in depth I am telling about each and every concept in the our first unit. Meanwhile, whatever that only initial concepts we are discussing about that each and every topic, and meanwhile when you are started with your uh, first unit, second part, third